WHPC.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everyone. This is Jewish Talk, coming to you live from Massey Community College at 90.3 WHPC. Also streaming live on the iHeart and iTunes app. We can be heard and seen in the studios right on my Facebook Live page, as well as on this great station at NCC. This program is later archived on Spreaker.com. So hi there, my name is Rabbi Pearl. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This all depends on when you're listening and watching. And if you post your name on our Facebook, we'll be more than happy to say hello. And therefore, let's begin with a good morning to Harvey Kipnis, to Louis Pushkin, and to Gene Bradenstein. Thank you, and good morning to you, Harvey. Thank you so much for joining, and everybody listening to us, and all over the world. And it's a great honor. So our discussion today is somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but really a serious subject. And that is just curious. Let's discuss what is the Jewish stance on cursing and curse words. You know, I've heard the line that our bodies are a temple and that defaming God's name is very bad. But what about a little curse here or there when we're really mad? You know, we have a rule in the station here that in the studio we're allowed up to four dirty words in an hour. Just joking, everybody. But really, what's the story on cursing and using curse words? I would like to say that think of someone wise, kind, and caring. The type of man or woman you deeply respect and look up to them as a role model. Now, can you imagine such a person spewing out filthy language in a sudden moment of rage? Probably not. And for good reason. It just isn't a holy thing to do. I want to say hello again to those who are joining us. And let's see, hello to Joanne Sand, to Candy Rosen, to Lisa Rosenberg. Doctor, what are you doing up so early in the morning? And Candy Rosen is all the way from Georgia. Oh, my goodness, or from California, or Denver, Colorado. So, dear friends, we're discussing this morning what happens when no one's listening and something goes wrong in your house or in your office. Do you let out a dirty word? And we're discussing, is it an appropriate thing to do? You know, there is actually an enigmatic instruction in the Torah. In Hebrew, it's the word kadoshim tiyu, which means be holy. Now, there is a difference. This is different. The idea of be holy, I mean, in general, why would there be a specific word, be holy? This is different from many other commandments that follow, because they pertain to specific matters as marital and ritual purity and holiness. So the sages explain, by using the word kadoshim tiyu, be holy, which is normally translated as holy, actually means to be distinct, to be separate. Therefore, these words are actually a commandment of how a person should be separated or different or distinct. In what way? Specifically, from vulgar language. That's one way of remaining a holy individual. To paraphrase Nachmanides, while the Torah forbids various behaviors and foods, at the same time does permit intimacy between husband and wife and the consumption of kosher meat and wine. Therefore, there can be a glutton. You can be a glutton who eats only kosher food. You could be a drunkard who drinks only kosher wine. And you could be a married man whose behavior with his wife is lewd, even though it may be permissible. Or there may be a person who speaks in a disgusting manner, something that is not specifically prohibited in the Torah. Therefore, it is possible for a person to actually be, in the classic words of Nachmanides, disgusting with permission of the Torah. It's called Menuvel B'Reshus HaTorah. In other words, Torah itself demands that we go beyond the parameter it sets and live a life that is truly distinguished and uplifted. And the Torah tells us to be holy. It's not enough to do this or just to don't do that. There is something that you have to do on your own to get up there, to go beyond just instructions, at least a small step. And what way is that? The truth is that using bad language does more than just keep you from being a step above this sense of holiness. When a person uses dirty words, it actually schleps them down. The Talmud speaks very harshly about one who speaks in a vulgar manner. Although we generally think of speech as just a superficial act, in truth it has a strong impact on the inner personality. The words that leave our mouth make an imprint on our mind and our heart. And many times we all know, we can say, people around us in the workplace or in other places, when something goes wrong, they let out a word, and you look at them like, wow, hey, what happened? So no matter how high you are on the rope of fine, noble character, let me tell you, a few rotten words can throw you right down to the ground. But on the flip side, it's also true. A crude person can become more refined if he improves the way he speaks. That is why Shmiras Haloshen, which translates guarding one's tongue, is considered one of the first steps to be taken to become more serious about oneself. And those just joining us, thank you. This is Rabbi Pearl. And if you're watching us on Facebook, I want to say hello to all those who are there watching us. Let's see. Zalman, good morning. Thank you so much, Zalman. And everybody joining us. So the hello to Renee Critton. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we continue now how it's important to recognize you can tell a lot about a person by their language. If they say rotten words, vulgar words, curse words. So is a choice word after stubbing a toe a horrible sin? Well, perhaps not. But being careful that all one's words that will leave your mouth are holy is an important part of living a holy life. I came across this, that researchers have found that about 0.7% of a typical American speech is made up of swear words. Now that might not sound like a lot, but given that the average person utters about 15 to 16,000 words a day, that adds up to 0.7 would mean that in an average day of a person speaking so many 15 to 16,000 words a day, it adds up to a whopping 80 to 90 curse words. Saying so many curse words, coarse words, really has an effect on us over time. Obscenities are called dirty words for a reason. Using them sends a message that we don't care enough about our speech to monitor it, to monitor what we say, and to choose cleaner options instead. I want to say good morning to Dr. Patty Fuchs. Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate your support and your friendship, and please send my very best to your dear mother, Marsha. Now, many of us intuitively realize when we want to seem intelligent and successful, swearing is out of the question. Few people would swear during a job interview or a first date. In Judaism, important occasions aren't reserved only for special moments. The Torah encourages us to take ourselves seriously and try to grow and reach our potential. That's what I remind myself. Why do I go to shul every day? And why do we come together on the Shabbos in particular? To refine ourselves, uplift ourselves, to see how we should speak, how we should think. Part of that is refining our speech, but not allowing degrading expressions to drag us down, even though it's part of the common language on TV, on internet, and all the other places. You know, I must tell you, I wonder if you know this, but I was shocked to find that the Hebrew language contains few swear words. Now, you can insult someone in Hebrew, but when an Israeli wants to swear, they often import words from other languages, and I don't have to go into details. See, the Hebrew language is a living, breathing tongue, but it kind of eschews obscenities. Good morning, Dr. Kolshevsky. I hope you agree with me that when there's a time to say some obscenities, it's not usually Hebrew words. It's kind of borrowed from the society around us. And good morning to Ada Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us. You see, it reflects a key Jewish truth in that what we say matters. The Talmud speaks disapprovingly about people who use crude or vulgar language, but it goes beyond that. In Jewish thought, the way we interact with people and the comments we make shape us. If we speak and act kindly to people, guess what? We become kind. When we talk gently to others, we become gentle. Thousands of years ago, actually 3,000 years ago, King Solomon said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. The words we say shape us in both clear and subtle ways. Engaging in crude speech drags us down, both the speaker and the listener. With vulgarity and swearing, such a huge part of everyday speech, maybe it's time to experiment with going obscenity-free. So my I guess challenge for today is, over this Memorial Day weekend, is let's all try between now and Tuesday morning when we go back to work to try to be totally obscenity-free. Even when you're private by yourself. And, the coffee falls on your nice new couch, or something else goes wrong. Let's consider giving up swearing for the next 48 hours. It might not be easy, but the rewards, my friend, in clarity of thought and more refined ways of communicating are well worth it. So I want to say, again, this is an important time for us to be together. It's a Memorial Day weekend, thinking back and thanking all those in the services of the United States of America and all those who have lost their life in different formats, in different situations, the first responders. We wish them only and their families our love and respect, and all those who did give their life away, we thank you, because we are able to live the way we live here in the United States with the freedom and respect we have for each other because of those who stood up for us. Thank you. So this is my question. And Kim, my wonderful engineer, knows that we have a rule in the station here, as I mentioned earlier on, that up to a certain amount of curse words per hour. And we're going to try very much in the next 48 hours. Kim, I hope you agree. At least till Tuesday morning, no obscenity-free environment over here. Maybe we should get some sort of a badge or something that I did not swear today. I don't know. Maybe let me speak to my, maybe I speak to the station manager here. Maybe we could find some new shirts or something, or a hat.
Excellent idea.
I don't swear, kind of thing.
It's going to be tough around here, though.
Anyway, dear friends, so this is the question. Which crime is worse, financial exploitation or verbal abuse? The Talmud has an interesting saying. He says, monies can be reimbursed, okay? But the hurt from words are irreparable. Money is a person's property, but words hurt the person themselves. Whether it's due to circumstance or nature, some people are more emotionally vulnerable than others. The Torah repeatedly tells us to watch our words with a widow, the orphan, the immigrant. Right? Men are enjoined specifically to speak sensitively to their wives. We are warned that the gates of prayers are sometimes closed, but never the gates of tears. Whether due to circumstance or others, we have to be very careful with our words. And I want to share with you some prototypes of verbal exploitation. Let's call it name-calling for no better words. Hey, train tracks, can you pick up Radio China with that mouth gear? It's horrible to talk that way. What about chiding? Cheer up, buddy. It's all for the good. Must be that you did some sins that this suffering is now expunging. That's disgusting. What about past digging? Right? Look, Mary, here's a picture of you before the acne treatment. That's terrible. Right, low life. Talk that way. What about wasting my time? Joe asks Bill for help in his business, and Bill sends him on a wild goose chase, purposely providing useless internet links, defunct phone numbers, connection that won't get him anywhere. Bill says he meant well, but he knows the truth. And let me give you a little more, a subtle example of how disgusting it is to speak that way. Wayne walks into a store, using your words to exploit. And we have to be very careful. In Jewish law, you have to be very careful to go into a store and make believe to the salesman you're going to buy there. That's terrible. I mean, if you go into the store and say, "Listen, I'm there. I'm shopping around. I'm comparing prices." Fine, but if to get to mismanage your words. Well, give me an example. Wayne walks into a store with a great customer service, and he juices up the salesperson for all the information he needs while trying all the examples. Then, once he's determined the best deal, he goes out and he goes buys it half price on Amazon or some online prey. That's not, not to do that. If you are just shopping, say that to the salesman. Otherwise, you're verbally exploiting that person, right? He makes an income on you buying but if he knows you're not there, you're just looking, you're shopping, you're window shopping, whatever, fine. But to lead on someone to think, oh, you're buying this, you're not buying this, and you're Hakamachinik, open the box, close the box, but your intention is to go out and buy it online, you are exploiting that person with your words. Worse than that, of course, is public embarrassment. Yeah, it's your fault, Johnny, if you didn't prepare. You're going to stand up there and make the presentation anyways. You mustn't do that. The Talmud tells us, better for a man to cast himself into a fiery furnace than to shame his fellow in public. Publicly embarrassing someone, we are told, is not just breaking his bones, it's cold-blooded murder. If you have an issue with someone, deal with it privately. Be open and try to work out a resolution. Wherever possible, just forgive and forget and get on with life. There's a famous story about the pillow full of feathers. But let me just interrupt myself and say hello again to everybody listening. And, our program is heard again in the middle of the night at 11 p.m. on Sundays. And I want to say hello to Karen Dumbeck. Good morning. Good morning, Karen, to everybody out there. If you have any questions or thoughts, comments, put them on our Facebook. We can be heard. As I said, we can be heard not only on or seen on my Facebook, but also the NCC's Facebook at the same time. And that's why this is the only program in the world that's double-faced. Ha, ha, ha. Double Facebook. Don't get nervous, everybody. Right? I'm just talking about how careful we must be with our words. But you can see us simultaneously right out of Facebook, both on the station, this great NCC here in Garden City, and, of course, out on my own Facebook, Rabbi Pearl. So here's the story about a pillow full of feathers. We're talking about the importance of words and being careful using good words and not curse words. And we've actually made a resolution right here in the station, dear friends, at least till Tuesday morning through the Memorial Day weekend. You're at the barbecue, whatever it may be, no swear words. Maybe starting 9 o'clock on Tuesday, you can start again, Kim, but up until that time, try to control yourself. In a small town, this is the story, dear friends, I'm only joking. We are, at least I would like to say publicly that I appreciate all those who help us, and I don't associate with anybody who says anything negative. I like to hang around with people who are positive, who have nice words to say about everybody. So here's the story. In a small town somewhere in Europe lived a nice man with a nasty problem. What was his problem? He talked too much about other people. It reminded me, I came into the station, I told everybody the story about this man who says, I'm divorcing my wife. I said, why you want to divorce your wife? She talks and she talks and she talks and she talks. All right. About 7-8 months later, I meet him on Willis Avenue. I said, no, what happened? What happened with your marriage? He said, I'm still married. Oh, I said, what happened? He tells me my wife talked me out of it. So this person had a big problem. He talked too much. He talked too much about other people. He couldn't help himself. Whenever he heard a story about someone he knew and sometimes about somebody he did not know, he just had to tell it to his friends. Since he was in business, he heard a lot of rumors and stories about people's lives. So he loved the attention he got and was delighted when they laughed because of the way he told his anecdotes. Of course, he embellished the little details. He invented about people's lives to make them more funnier and to more juicier. Other than that, he was really a pleasant, good-hearted man. He kind of knew it was wrong to talk this way, but it was too tempting. And in any case, most of what he told had really happened, didn't it, right? He just added a little bit, every story had a beard. Many of his stories were just innocent, entertaining. weren't they? One day he found out something really weird but true about another businessman in town. Of course, he felt compelled to share what he knew with his colleagues, who told it to their friends, who told it to the people that they knew, who told it to their wives, who spoke with their friends and their neighbors. It went around town till the unhappy businessman, who was the main character in the story, heard about it. He ran to the rabbi of the town and wailed and complained that he was ruined. Nobody would ever deal with him any after this. His good name and his reputation were gone with the wind. Now, this rabbi knew his customers, so to speak. He decided to summon the man who loved to tell the stories. If he was not the one who started it, he might at least know who did. When the nice man with a nasty problem heard from the rabbi how devastated his colleague was, he felt truly sorry for what he did. He honestly had not considered it such a big deal to tell this story, because it was true. The rabbi could check it out if he wanted. But then the rabbi sighed. True, not true, that really makes no difference. You just cannot tell stories about people. You can't. This is all lashon hara, slander. It's like murder. You can kill a person's reputation with these stories. He said a lot more, and the man who started the rumor now felt really bad and sorry. What can I do to undo this? I will do anything, he said to the rabbi. The rabbi looked at him. He says, "Do you have any feather pillows in your house?" The rabbi, I'm not poor. I have a whole bunch of them. What do you want me to do? Sell them? No, just bring me one. The man was mystified, but he returned a bit later to the rabbi's study with a nice fluffy pillow under his arm. The rabbi opened the window and handed him a knife. "Cut it open," he says. "Cut it open. Destroy this pillow." "But Rabbi, here in your study, it's going to make a mess." "Do as I say," the rabbi says. So the man cut the pillow. A cloud of feathers came out. They landed on the chairs, on the bookcase, on the clock, on the cat, which jumped after them. They floated over the table, into the teacups, on the rabbi, and on the man with the knife. And a lot of them flew out the window in a big, swirling trail. The rabbi waited 10 minutes. Then he ordered the man, "Now, bring me back all the feathers and stuff them back into your pillow. All of them, mind you. Not one may be missing." The rabbi stared at the man stared at the rabbi in disbelief. "That's impossible, Rabbi. The ones here in the room I might get most of them. But the ones that flew out the window are gone, Rabbi. I can't do that. You know that. "Yes," said the rabbi, and he nodded rather gravely. "This is how it is. Once a rumor, a gossipy story, a secret leaves your mouth, you do not know where it ends up. It flies on the wings of the wind, and you can never get it back." He ordered the man to deeply apologize to the person about whom he had spread the rumor. That is difficult and painful, but it was at least he could do. He ordered him to apologize to the people to whom he told the story, making them accomplices in the nasty lashon hara game. And he ordered him to diligently study the laws concerning lashon hara, slander talk, every day for a year, and then come back to him. This is what the man did. And not only did he study about lashon hara, he talked about the importance of guarding one's tongue to all of his friends and colleagues. And in the end, he became a nice man who overcame a rather nasty problem. That's the power of speech, and how important it is for us to speak nicely, to speak edely, to speak with a fine tongue. And if we want to express ourselves in a manner of how upset we are, say it in a nice way. I am reminded how the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, would always speak in positive terms, and saying things, not to say anything negative. For example, the Rebbe didn't like the word, I have a deadline to get a paper finished. He used to say, no, don't use the word deadline. Deadline is negative. Use the word, I have a due date. Find some nice way, even if you're talking about something positive, but express it in a positive, in a fine way. So with this in mind, I'd like to make you aware of an invitation. Have you ever been to the land of Israel? Have you never been to the land of Israel? And I would like to officially invite you to join us, that's my wife and myself, to join with Chabad of Mineola for a VIP-style trip to the land of Israel. This is taking place between March 15th through 24th in the year 2020. So this coming March, right after Purim, we're looking with Hashem's help, leading a trip together with many other Chabad rabbis and their communities to join us in what is known as the Land and Spirit Israel trip. This Land and Spirit trip includes 5-star accommodations at top-rated hotels, gourmet kosher dining, VIP airport service, luxury buses with privileged access to top-level military and intelligence personnel. We will be hearing from Israel's chief rabbis, renowned scholars, and top government officials. This immersive learning experience, traversing the birthplace of our Jewish heritage, explores the sites, the history, the geography of our heritage, while taking a penetrating look into the soul of the country and our people. So whether you've visited Israel many times or visiting for the first time, we share with you the itinerary. It's uniquely designed with choices and flexibility to provide you a very tailored experience you will never forget. Also part of this, I was informed, if a person wanted to precede this trip to the land of Israel, there's an option for a 4-day journey to Poland prior to Israel. And of course, Poland is the home of millions of Jews since the 10th century, where this trip includes guided experiences and tours to Warsaw, Lodz, and Krakow, where people will confront the horrors of the Holocaust at the Auschwitz and Chelmno camps. For more details for this very special event, you can go right now to landandspirit.org, LANDAND, landandspirit.org, and find out all the details. And for more information, you can certainly call us at 516-739-3636. But this is a special group, and if you are interested to call us or when registering, say you want to be part of Rabbi and Anshel and Bloomer Pearls under that group. So, my friends, we're talking about the importance of speech and learning how to speak and speaking in a positive manner. And that's something that all of us must appreciate, the power of speech and the difference it makes. We all know the difference as a teacher if you speak positively to a student or the opposite. And I think in the world that we live in today, we need positive speech. All we see and read and everywhere, what's going on in different parts of the country is all about negative speech. And I think it has I was just discussing this with Kim, that all the problems kind of filter down. When we had on last Thursday night our annual Good Deed Awards for Long Island teenagers, where over 40 students from all public and private schools here were recognized for their good deeds. And it was an amazing event. And it began when we made a special dedication to a student, a high school student who was about to graduate from his high school, and a shooter came into the school. This was near Denver, Colorado, and he took the bullet, he ran, and he actually saved so many lives. So posthumously, we presented him with the Good Deed Awards, and it was a very moving moment. And we saw the importance of that effort. But how come it's fallen that in public schools, in schools, in campuses, in synagogues, and houses of worship, we have this going on? I think, dear friends, it really begins at the top. There's an expression, when the fish goes bad, it starts to stink from the top. What we see even though we may think that we don't mix religion or church and state and all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, if anyone is a leader, doesn't matter what party it is, acts and speaks and negatively and there's no civility amongst people, it filters down. And I think it does impact the younger people today. So I want to say thank you to all those who joined us and those who are with us on Thursday night. And wishing everybody a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to Tom Schwartz, to Samantha Kennedy, shalom, to Karen Dumbeck. This is your host, Rabbi Pearl, wishing you all the best. Keep the mouth clean. No negative words now, at least until Tuesday morning.